Arr, Billy, have you ever been to sea?
Dinner is served, our first dinner here.
A mouthful of linguine with lobster. We kind of got booted out of our Halifax Airbnb.
I said to them, each one take a row and find me this grave marker. Here you have the ingredient for a huge explosion.
Oh.
My dad has brought us to a very random location, but for a very special reason.
Cheers!
Dinner's awesome.
Very, 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 very tasty.
Because I think I...
You ate one? You ate a mosquito?
That was dessert.
Hello people.
Hello. We're kind of dusting off the cobwebs, aren't we?
I know, it has been a really long time since we filmed or even just traveled, you know?
It's been over a year. The last time we traveled was a year ago, like
It was
on
a
a
year
trip
ago.
that lasted more than a couple days.
Yes, so that was Nova Scotia exactly a year ago. We put out those videos and then our parents watched them and they were like, wow, Nova Scotia looks so beautiful. We really want to see it one day.
So we brought them this time.
So we brought the dads. We're doing a dad's road trip this
We're
summer.
reuniting the Vancouver Island gang.
Yes.
It's my dad, your dad, and us. His blue car, and we've got 10, 11 days on the road, don't we?
We sure do. So this morning we drove down from Fredericton to Halifax. We're going to be spending a couple of days here. Then we're driving along the south shore. We're going to check out Lunenburg, see the Blue Nose, fishing villages along the way. And we're also planning to hit up the Annapolis Valley and go vineyard hopping.
Oh, saving the best for last, huh? So, yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of a rough plan of what this trip is going to look like. It's going to be super casual, you know, it's a family road trip.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about it is we have an outline of what we want to do, but a lot of it's going to be playing it by ear, weather dependent and interest dependent.
Yes.
So, yeah, let's see what we get up to.
Yeah, but there's going to be lots of good food and wine.
Oh,
for
you
sure.
better believe it.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
See you soon.
See you.
Okay, so we have found the fourth member of our little road trip we are embarking on here in Nova Scotia. My dad, Daniel.
The missing link.
The missing link. People have been asking for you on the English channel.
Oh yeah, they have?
They have.
Okay, family of viewers, how are you all?
You've been traveling since 4 in the morning.
I got up at 4 o'clock this morning because the dog,
The dog, of course, his son.
he slept outside last night and he didn't want to come back into the house. So at 4 o'clock in the morning he started barking and I had to get up and go fetch him. So after that I was supposed to get up at 5, but 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock I was not going to go to bed for 1 more hour, right? Cup of coffee, a couple of cookies to the airport, and we flew up to Halifax. We just got here to the house where we're going to be staying for 1 night only, no?
1 night. We've been double booked, so we better enjoy it tonight and we'll show you a new place tomorrow.
Beautiful place because of the view. It's got the view of the harbor and it's amazing, you know, from this deck over here. It's too bad we cannot stay here for 3 days, but anyway, we're going to enjoy what we have.
So how was the ferry ride? Don't break the camera.
Ferry ride with the dads. Here's George. How was that?
It was so exciting. The best 5 minutes I've had in Halifax so far.
You cooled down a bit, huh?
Yeah, there was a nice breeze for sure. That was the
Right,
best
especially
part.
in the middle of the channel. It was nice breeze.
Oh, it was so beautiful.
Natural
so fresh.
aircon.
Oh, nice and cool.
Yeah.
That's what we were hoping for, because today, I don't know what's happening in Canada this summer, but the heat wave that we're having, it's just unbearable.
Party, har, har, har.
Arr, Billy, have you ever been to sea? Well, I don't know if that looks like a sea to me or not. We're gonna go sail it right now, and we'll swab that deck and do everything we can to be a real pirate.
Dinner is served, our first dinner here. What are we having?
A mouthful of linguine with lobster. Very good. This is a dish we got last time we were in the city, and it was so good. I had to order the same one. I think same for you, to be honest.
Yeah, I ended up getting the risotto, same with my dad. What do you guys think?
Very good.
Yeah?
Very good.
Yeah.
Very, very flavorful.
Linguine al dente with the lobster. Here in Nova Scotia, if you don't eat lobster, you know,
They send you packing.
they don't receive you back next year.
And we're trying a local beer. It's very good. Tropical flavor.
Perfect for 30 plus weather.
Propeller, I believe.
Yeah.
Propeller variety, yeah.
You got a Stella.
Stella Artois.
So yeah, a good start to the trip. in terms
Loving
of
the food so
Yeah.
far.
Salud.
Right, so where are we now?
We've been to Pier 21 now for a little while. One of the most interesting museums we've ever been to.
The history of immigration of Canada. This pier, 1 million newcomers came into the country, actually into this place. That's where the arrival point was. And also during the World War II, almost 400,000 Canadian personnel, soldiers and others left Canada from this specific place. It hits you is when you see these pictures of the faces of these new immigrants that were arriving into the country. These faces of the unknown, worry, preoccupation, fear, anticipation, happiness maybe, everything like kind of mixed into the same expressions, you know. I guess, well, if you're an immigrant like myself, you can really relate to that, you know, that moment. Mm-hmm. Look at this, the hot stove. I love this thing. You know, look at the matches and stuff like table salts.
One other fact was that families could travel all the way from here, all the way across Canada for $7.
Amazing.
The whole family for $7.
The whole family for $7, plus all their belongings as
Can you
well.
imagine? What would $7 get you today from here to what? Across the other side of the...
Over the Dartmouth, yeah.
Over the Dartmouth, maybe.
Man, maybe that.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning, guys.
Day 2 in Halifax, and
Sure
it
is.
is a pea super.
It's a
It is-
pea super.
It's real foggy.
It's foggy, it's wet, it's raining.
Yeah.
Actually, this is a rare moment where it's not raining, so we are filming.
But it feels like it's about to start. It's like a little bit drizzly.
Yeah.
So anyway, because it is a rainy day, the plan today is to focus on the museums.
Yes.
So we just finished visiting the Immigration Museum at Pier 21. We're going to show you a few clips of our visit coming up. And then later on, we're going to hit the Maritime Museum of the Atlantic.
Yeah, we are.
So we're going to stay dry, but visit some attractions that we're really excited
Yeah, and
about.
maybe a donair or a pizza for
A
supper.
donair for lunch.
Lunch, I should say.
Ooh, okay, let's cross. All right, guys, we are in the car. The weather has changed
Yeah.
abruptly.
I'm actually unpacking a day pack
Yes.
with your fleece and waters so that I can fit in the camera.
The camera so it doesn't get wet. Hi.
Yeah,
Yeah, we were like, oh yeah, it's just foggy. We don't think it's gonna rain, yada yada. And then just like that, it started pouring rain.
Well, actually, the funny thing was your dad said he felt something in his leg. He's like, I know it's
yeah.
gonna rain. It's
Yeah.
like his lake is the weatherman.
It was. He's
kind
like,
of is.
I feel it. Because we were like, no, I think it's just going to be fog. And
Your
he's
dad's
like,
like,
no,
no.
I feel it in my leg. The rain is coming.
So look,
And sure enough, like 5 minutes later.
we just bought some umbrellas. These are exact same ones
Yeah.
we bought from a superstore 2 years ago in Vancouver Island. And we got a couple golf umbrellas in the back. So we're basically just getting the umbrellas for everybody.
Yeah.
And we'll be hitting the, walking around again.
Hitting the town.
In the town.
Next up, Maritime Museum of the Atlantic to check out the Titanic exhibit.
Exactly.
And some other cool things they have in there.
Yeah.
Good morning,
Good morning, guys.
everyone. Hello.
Different location.
Different location. I'm just
Yeah.
realizing how bright it is. I'm a little squinty-eyed.
Yeah.
So it is day 3 in Halifax, although
Area. Greater
we're
area.
outside Halifax. We kind of got booted out of our Halifax Airbnb because they had double booked it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm guessing the other people probably had a longer booking.
Yeah, we were a lower priority. Anyways, we got moved to
Yes.
a house
House.
20 kilometers outside of the city.
So we're actually in Lower Sackville,
Yeah.
which has been a pleasant surprise. I mean, we're here by the lake, near a provincial park. It's super peaceful.
We had the most gorgeous sunrise this morning.
Yeah, that's kind of what's been going on, and maybe like why we haven't been filming as much, just because there's been like a lot of, packing the suitcases, packing the car, driving across the city, getting settled in.
Not to mention the weather yesterday.
Oh.
A torrential downpour.
Oh man. So yeah, we thought we would do a recap for yesterday since we didn't film that much. I think when we last spoke to you, we were heading to the museums because it was pouring rain. We ended up visiting the Museum of Immigration at Pier 21, which was
Yeah.
really interesting. I know my dad really enjoyed that. Just
Yeah, because he was an immigrant himself.
Yeah, exactly, and just kind
And
of
so was
like
his
that
father,
connection.
too.
Yes.
So
We're a family of immigrants, guys. Generational
Generational immigrants.
I'd highly recommend it to anyone visiting Halifax.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
such a cool spot.
I mean, yeah, even if you're not really into museums, it's worth going to. As is
Yeah.
the second museum we visited.
Oh yes, the Maritime Museum of the Atlantic.
Yeah.
Again, they have replicas of ships and boats and sailing vessels. Like that one is super cool.
Yeah. Something to keep in mind though, it is very much a rainy day activity.
Oh.
And it was packed in there.
Yes.
So maybe if it is looking like a rainy day, my advice would be to go when it first opens. It was very crowded around lunchtime.
Yeah, but there was nothing else to do
No.
outdoors, so
Yeah, it was that wet.
can't blame people. Oh, and let's talk about pizza.
Oh,
For lunch,
yes.
we went to one of Sam's favorite restaurants. Yeah, it's called Piatto,
Yep.
I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we had a really good Naples-style pizza. I got the margarita
Yep.
with mozzarella, basil, tomato sauce.
Wood
Olive oil.
oven fire pizza at 900 degrees Fahrenheit, 90
Yes.
seconds in the oven. Good to go. So let's talk about being efficient, huh?
Yes. So yeah, that's kind of the update. That's what we've been up to on this dad's road trip. But yeah, we're just planning to enjoy our last day in the city. We're heading over to the Citadel to see the noonday gun and
Yeah.
some of the demonstrations with, their rifles and like all the shooting, the artillery. All right, good morning. We have arrived at Fairview Lawn Cemetery, and this is one of the places that my dad really wanted to visit because it's known as the Titanic Cemetery, and it's where a lot of the victims were buried just outside of the city of Halifax. So we're doing a little tour.
Yeah, this is pure history here and sad history. you know,
Yeah.
part of the history of the city too, because of you know, the closeness of where the Titanic sank in relationship of the coast of Canada, right? About 1,800 kilometers or something like this, close to the Grand Banks it sank. So yeah, here the grapes, and this one is really interesting. This one, it caught our eye, because look at this one. A lady aged 29 years old, Alma Paulson, and she died with 4 of her children, aged 8, 6, 4, and 2. I mean, what a pity, no?
tragedy.
What a tragedy.
I actually saw her name at the museum yesterday. They
Yeah.
she's in the exhibit, the Titanic exhibit.
Something else interesting too is on this other side, you see a number of unmarked graves. There were unidentified bodies with just a number. And since that time, they've been able to figure out some of the names, and that's been chiseled onto the top of the gravestone.
Oh, wow.
Who they
Yeah.
were.
So my dad came here looking for a particular name.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell us.
And my Jorge found it.
Jorge was the Hawkeye. He found
He's
the
the Hawkeye.
I said to them, each one take a row and find me this grave marker.
Yeah.
And for all those that have seen the movie Titanic,
Yeah.
do you remember DiCaprio's name in that role he played?
Yeah, Jack Dawson.
Jack Dawson. Look what we found here.
Jay Dawson.
Yeah. So this was the inspiration for his character.
Somehow-
They say.
Somehow, Cameron, the film director, says that has nothing to do with this, but it's a big coincidence, and we can prove that there was a J. Dawson on board the Titanic, and he died when the ship
When the
went
ship
down.
went down, yeah.
Yeah, so we leave it to your imagination. Is this Rose's love, or is this just a coincidence? Huh?
Yes. Yeah.
A lot of people do not know the Titanic was not the only ship built with those dimensions and to those standards. There were 3 sister ships. It was the Titanic, the Olympic, and the Britannic. The Titanic sank, hitting the iceberg. The Britannic was caught by World War I and was never put into passenger service. It was converted to a hospital ship, and it was sunk in the Aegean Sea near Greece. And the only one that finished its life as a passenger ship was the Olympic, that after a few years in service, it was sold for scrap metal and it was dismantled. Let's keep going and let's go visit something else now.
So we've made it to our next stop of the day.
Yes.
It's the Citadel, the main attraction here in
By
Halifax.
far the most iconic attraction in Halifax. It's great to be coming back here. We got to visit a couple different times the first time we were in Halifax. For various reasons. We were doing a ghost tour.
Oh, yeah.
We were doing tasting,
Spirits
a
tasting.
spirits tour, and we also came for the noonday gun, which is what we're back for
Yes.
again today. So
So
exciting
we're
to be back.
climbing that steep hill, because what do you want to eat later today?
Well, we're having
What
a
are you
donair,
planning?
Halifax's official food, and yeah, it's not a low calorie lunch, so we got to burn some right now.
Here we find ourselves at the fort, and we are at the gunpowder storage room. Here you have all these barrels that have 100 pounds of gunpowder. In those days, you know, for the cannons and all those muskets, it was black powder. Huh? This is the place where they used to keep it. And one of the issues with this, when they built this fort up on top of Halifax and so close to the city, this became a problem. As the city started to grow, a lot of people began to question themselves, okay, such a large amount of gunpowder so close to the city, what if there is an accident and there is an explosion and it could wipe the city totally, you know? So this was one of the reasons why eventually the fort was decided to be abandoned, like, you know, no more like a military garrison. and because of this issue with the storage of the gunpowder and stuff. Once you had a city that was just a couple of houses or an outpost, it wasn't that problematic. But once you have a city that starts to grow and the population starts to grow, to have powder kegs, how they call them, and so many, because as far as you can see, and I can imagine it must have been piled up all the way to the rafters in those days. So here you have the ingredient for a huge explosion. If it was
the end of the Citadel.
Yeah, the end of the Citadel and maybe part of the
city.
whole town. Very interesting.
Yeah.
If you have a chance to come and visit, don't forget to take a tour.
Yeah, take a tour inside.
Yeah, inside, and the fort itself is super. You can breathe the history in here, huh?
Yeah, you can.
I mean, get close to the TV screen if you're watching and go like, you can take it all in the way we are.
Yeah.
Just fantastic, amazing.
It's amazing.
So, okay, let's go see something else.
Yeah. So we are having the official Halifax food. It's the donair. It's a thing of beauty. It's the top street food you can get in the city. And so basically it's an interpretation of the classic Turkish donair. So what's different about the Halifax version is we've got sweet sauce, we've got beef, and we also have tomato in there. And we're at one of the most famous places here.
Johnny K.
Johnny K's.
Right, well, we told you guys this was going to be a very history-heavy trip because you are a history enthusiast. So my dad has brought us to a very random location in a neighborhood, but for a very special reason.
Yeah. This is what we came looking for.
This right here.
This is the shaft of the anchor of the ship, the Mont-Blanc. The one that blew up at the harbor in 1917. The ship was loaded with ammunition and explosives bound for Europe, or World War I. They were fighting the First War, and the two ships had a collision. Yeah. And this is the anchor of the ship that was loaded with the ammunition. 3.8 kilometers away, okay? It was hurled through the air, and this is exactly the same spot where it landed. And it's a solid piece of steel or cast iron, and the weight of this thing is 1,140 pounds.
Wow.
There it is.
Huge.
2.35 miles away from the port. It was
crazy.
Thrown through the air.
Imagine that kind of projectile.
I know, we're a long way from the harbor.
Yeah. For reference point, we're near Regatta Point Park.
Yeah, that's where it's located.
And that can give you an idea of the brutality of that explosion. Actually, it was, if not the biggest, one of the biggest man-made explosions before the nuclear era.
What are you overdressed for, Sam?
I was gonna say, I am swimming in my underwear, but I've got more coverage than a European Speedo. So.
How was your swim?
Oh, it's fantastic. You know, those late August swims, the actual waters here in Canada are warm enough to be in. You're not just shivering. But yeah, it's just so nice. I mean, if you're gonna be out in a property like this that has lakefront access, how could you not be out on the water swimming, or like you were doing stand-up paddleboarding or canoeing? We saw people kayaking as well. We're gonna make the most of this location out by the lake.
Well, good morning. We are kicking off day 4 here of the road trip in Nova Scotia.
It's hard to believe the time's just been flying, huh?
Yeah. Lots of things to see and to do. Today we're at PEGGY'S Cove. Beautiful, beautiful place. Right now we are at the harbor.
Yeah.
And we just cannot believe the water is so clear.
It's transparent.
Transparent. You're looking at the bottom, straight to the bottom, you know?
Yeah, and this place here is a quaint little fishing town. I mean, you've got beautiful colored houses. Yeah. And the main attraction that brings all the tourists here is, of course, the lighthouse out on the rocks. It's an incredible view from there. You see nothing but ocean, and you can get different vantage points. Listen to the cause of that.
They are laughing at us.
They're laughing at our commentary here.
Yeah. And also you can tell the heritage of the fishing industry here, huh?
Exactly.
You can see all kinds of anchors, lobster traps, and you know, everything that is related with the fishing industry.
Yeah, it's all here.
It's all here.
Get Georgie boy. Georgie boy on camera. Enjoying the views of PEGGY'S Cove on this beautiful bench.
PEGGY'S Cove, I'm the mayor of this place. There's too many tourists for me to keep track of, you know. It's a real hassle, so I just sit up here and watch the cars go by, watch the people go by. Traffic? And, you know, think that I'm the king, but really I'm not.
And work on your tan a little bit.
Work on my tan a little bit, yeah. What's nice about up here too is you get a little bit of a breeze every once in a while, so it's cools you down, you know.
Good morning. I haven't been on camera yet today.
Nice for you to join us.
Hello.
Nice for you to join us, yeah.
So it's a bit windy. I hope you can hear us okay.
Yeah.
But this is another place that we're revisiting here in Nova Scotia on our dad's trip. We are doing PEGGY'S Cove.
Polly want a cracker?
Polly want a cracker.
Polly want a cracker.
This is a little hiking trail. It's literally a 3-minute drive from PEGGY'S Cove. When you exit, you just turn right.
Yeah.
There's 2 little parking lots where you can leave the car, and there's a trail that leads out to the water, out to the ocean.
So it's a nice alternative to PEGGY'S Cove, which is very, very popular, very, very crowded and touristy. If you want to get out in nature a little bit and still have the coastal views, this is the place to come. Yeah. It's perfect.
But no lighthouse out here. No. It's literally just for the views. You've got like a rocky shore, and yeah, it's just nice, outdoorsy, green, naturey.
And it's the perfect weather today. I mean, it's sunny, but it's not hot, and we have the ocean breeze to cool us down.
Best thing about this place, definitely that fresh, crisp sea breeze. Like it just smells salty. It's so good.
Smacks you in the face, and I'm sure you're getting the crispy, salty audio.
That's probably what it sounds like. Hello everyone. Good afternoon. So we've moved on to our next destination, which is actually Chester Basin, and we rented a converted barn that's been turned into a loft. And this is basically home sweet home for the next 3 days.
Right now we actually have to bring down some cold ginger ale for our dads who are trying to cool off by the river.
Gonna take some drinks down to the dads.
We've got some thirsty dads, so.
Thirsty dads.
So this isn't just any kind of ginger ale. This is unique to out in Atlantic Canada. It's the golden ale. It's a darker color, has a little more bite. I love it. It's actually very similar if you've had the Sussex brand.
Ooh, yes, I have.
That's really good.
How's your first afternoon in the Chester Basin?
It's amazing.
It was, we're by the water and relaxing and
ginger ailing.
Ginger ale. And we didn't travel very far today, but you know, we just stopped in a few spots.
The key to a longer trip like this with family is you don't want to run everyone off their feet. So today's a bit of a more relaxing day, less driving, chill. You know, you kind of get settled in your new surroundings, and then from there we can pick up the pace again. Yeah, we're just kind of recharging the battery today and ready to go for tomorrow.
So we have the chef and the sous chef. What is on the menu for tonight's dinner?
Questo è un disastro, un disastro. What a mess! A disaster! we discovered that the salt is solid rock, the pepper solid rock. We got a problem, Houston. Thanks God we bought sauce already made, and that's already with condiments. So what we're gonna do tonight is gonna make a spaghettada, or a spaghetti dish with a sauce of seafood. As long as we have wine,
We'll be
baguette,
okay.
hot salami.
We've caught the sous chef eating in the background. What's this? I noticed you stuffing your face and turning around.
That was me having the heel. I noticed you sampling the salami earlier.
The chef doesn't taste nothing, and the higher help, they're already munching.
We're hungry.
Madonna, what a world. Hey, what happened with the wine?
Oh, the wine's been we actually been
We
chilling.
decided
What-
to chill it since it was
What's going
so
to
hot.
be tonight's variety? Finca Las Moras
Yep.
and 19 Crimes.
We've had the 19 Crimes before.
Yeah,
we like
these
that
are
one a lot.
two good ones.
So
no?
Shiraz and a Cabernet Shiraz blend.
Yeah.
So it's going to be perfect for pasta,
Pasta.
especially
Wow.
seafood.
And I have the honor of opening the first
We've had
bottle.
this before and liked it a lot.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Yeah. When we saw it again, different label, we're like, let's get it.
Yeah, it's one of our favorite Australians.
And we also love Australian Shiraz. So
Oh, I know.
here, I'll help you.
Cheers to the people. Oh, he just drinks? He doesn't do cheers to the people?
Cheers to the people. That is an excellent wine. Very smooth. Very good.
Cheers. Samuelo. Jorge. How is it? ¿Cómo está?
Dinner's awesome.
It's very, 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 very tasty. If you ever want to spice up your pasta, just add seafood.
Great wine.
Ah, very good
Very
wine.
good wine.
Start again. Because I think
You
ate
ate one? You ate a mosquito?
That was dessert.
after that meal now we're relaxing by the river. There are just a few mosquitoes busting our chops. But other than that, we're having el vino. And we finished eating that beautiful spaghettada marinara, but big problem. We each had a huge serving, and then I committed the mistake of daring Samuel if he was going to have another one or not. And believe me, he did, and I had to follow through. So right now, last time I dare him because there's no way to beat him, you know.
Let's see. How are you feeling about
If you
this?
can't beat him, join it, right? Well, you said it all, right? It's cheaper to buy me a fancy suit than it is to invite me over for dinner. So-
Never ever challenge Samuel to
Well, I'll
an
tell
eating
you.
contest.
I'll tell you what.
He has an
Especially,
unfair advantage. He's got a hollow leg, and he
Especially
can kick that in anytime.
especially pizza. Don't challenge me to pizza. I'll put you under the table. I'll put you in the hospital.
Right.
You can eat a family pizza.
Hey, tell them that day that you bought the pizza in Brampton and you sat by the side of the road to eat it in minus 20 degree.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Remember?
Samuel. I don't think
I had to
people
put my
know
hand.
this.
Oh, whoops! I had to put my.
Oh my God,
no!
Samuel!
Big one?
No, no, the little one.
lost it.
A
No.
small spill.
I recovered it. What happened in Brampton? Well, let me put this down here.
Yeah,
It
tell
was-
the whole story. Come
It
on.
was about minus 20.
Tell
Decided
the
to
whole story.
eat pizza. Ordered a Domino's pizza, and it was so cold, I couldn't eat pizza with my gloves on. So I had to expose one hand. I had to put the other hand in my armpit like this while I was eating, and then this hand would freeze, and I would do the opposite like that. And grab another slice and go like this.
Okay, but first tell us, why do you sit on a hill eating pizza in the snow in winter?
With a minus 20 degrees Celsius.
Because I am too embarrassed to bring it back home. That's why.
Gosh.
That's why.
Because he was, I know why, he was on a diet.
Yeah.
Yes, sirree. He was on a diet and he escaped the house, went to the pizzeria, and instead of bringing the pizza home and said, okay, I'm gonna break the diet, he just sat on the bank of snow behind the Chrysler manufacturing factory there by our house, and it was 20 below Celsius. So one hand under the armpit, and with the other one he was eating a slice, and then he'll switch, warm up the other one, and use this one.
It's very strategic, very,
You know what that is?
very well
There's a-
thought out plan.
There's a what's called a Siberian handshake.
Yeah.
And what you do is you go like this, You shake hands and you put your arms underneath your thing.
Yeah, there you go.
Don't ever say that Samuel is not adjusting to climate change.
Yeah.
He adjusted to climate change while he had that pizza in the winter.
Yeah, exactly.
He
I
knew
did.
how to deal with the problem.
I knew how to deal with the problem.